Okay, today's fly is going to be probably one of my signature flies of this shop, and I believe it could be called the Idaho Prince, but I'm going to call it the Red and Blue Prince Nymph, Columbia River Prince Nymph. Yeah, we can do whatever we want. We can call anything whatever we want if we're the ones tying it. So again, I use a red thread. I'm using 6/0 today. Prince Nymph, I like to use black tail goose biots. So when I'm tying this fly, I'm going to use the black biot for the tail. I'm going to put it against the bump, tie down the outside of the biot on the outside of the hook first, which is away from me. It's right on your side first. The next step is tying the other one on exactly the same length sticking out. So what I do is I take and I squeeze the biots together to get the tips on the right size. I hold it in place and start my thread at the mid or front of the hook, and then I add the biot. And this one looks a little bit off, so I'm going to back my thread off. And that's the good thing about tying your own flies. If something's not perfect, you can back it off and retie it. I just give it a little tug, and now it looks perfect to me now. Both biots are the same length. All right, let's cut the excess stuff off. We're going to add our next step. And this is really odd that this fly works so well. And it's a really oddity that I found it and used it, and it's stuck with me for the last 10 years. I'm using a large blue wire and a medium red wire for the body. And I tie them on together, and I don't know if you can see the two different color of the wires, but you really have to pull hard on these wires to get them to wrap one beside the other all the way up the hook. And I'm wrapping. I happen to have a rotary vise. It makes this game a lot easier. You don't have to go all the way up to the bead because you need to add your dubbing and your biots and everything else. So what I do is I'll bring them right up to the bead. There's the blue and red wire wrapped together. Now, in order to get rid of it, you got to pull hard and wiggle the two wires. And if you keep wiggling, they will break off, and you don't have to ruin your scissors when you're cutting these wires off. So there is, and I'll just tighten up those wires a little bit. Next step, we're going to use our prism again, and that's my thorax. My magic thorax product is this black prism. It comes from Wapsi, and it looks blue-black, but it works good on this fly. Again, I do a single strand dub, which is you keep the line tight and you add the dubbing to the single strand, wrapping in one direction. If the thread is kept tight, it'll wrap on there and it won't come off, and you'll find it's not that difficult to put onto the thread and onto your fly. Next step is our two white biots. On this one, I put the white one on the front. I like to go right to the end of where the hook bend is on this white biot. A couple of, and I don't lay them right on top. I put them about one on each side, kind of sort of on top, but on each, 3/4 on each side, sort of. It gives you visibility. The really great thing about using the white biots, they are a natural ultraviolet looking product. When you put the blue light on it, these wings glow in the dark almost. And that's something that helps you catch fish when you're actually adding a product that glows. My other product that glows is my guinea feathers. Now, when you put a guinea feather on, they have those dots, and quite often they glow also. So when I'm adding this to my fly, now some methods I'll tie on the center stem and do a wrap, and other times I'll add these feathers on each side. I'll put my fingers on each side of it and pinch down and wrap in place. Now what that does, it actually does the same thing of wrapping them, and you can use more of your feather if you've actually wrapped your first one with the feather on the tip, and then you'll add this next feather on each side of this fly, and that's all you need, is a little bit of legs on each side of this fly, and that'll do the trick for that one. We'll tighten it down. As long as your wings are visible and your body's got a little color visible, that thing is going to work. On this, to finish it off, again, before I put on my dubbing, I will put a good batch of glue around the neck. This secures everything below the dubbing that you're putting on to finish the fly off. And it'll secure the wings and everything else that you've added to your fly. So I take my dubbing. When you're adding dubbing to a thread, just feather it out and grab the tip and do a little rolling with your fingers. I like to dampen my fingertips with a little saliva, and it sticks to the thread a little bit better. When do I fish this thing? Springtime, early summer, fall time. Just about all year long in the runs, in back eddies, early season. April and May are good times for this fly in back eddies. I'll hang it 4 feet, 6 feet down, 8 feet if the fish are down that deep. It's good to use on a sinking line in runs as a swinging fly. It just about is one of my favorite patterns when things are tough and the fish are a little bit finicky. It seems to attract them enough to take a bite of it, and it's visible from a long ways away, and the fish like this. I don't know why they like it, but they do like it. It's a lot different than the Red Prince, the one with the red shoulders. If you look at both of them next to each other, they got a little bit of difference. They're similar, but the red shoulder, the black shoulder, they make a difference. Fish like them. That's all I can say. Is it's a good fly for me on this river anyways. And that's the fly for the day. I don't know what we call it, the Red and Blue Prince Nymph, Idaho Prince, you call it anything you want. Nice fly.